Welcome back to TMZ Sports. My name is Evan, along with Michael J. Babcock.
What's up?
Robert Littell.
In the house.
You ever wonder what it must have been like to be raised having Michael Jordan as your father? You ever wonder that?
I really haven't thought about it before today, but since we talked to Marcus, I have thought about how awesome that would be.
I haven't thought about Michael growing up. I just thought about growing up like if you're just rich, like just no matter how. If you just walk, you grew up and you're like Ricky Schroeder from Silver Spoon.
Yeah. Well, look, we're about to find out because we actually spoke with Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan. He's Michael's second son. They're very close. He was also a really good basketball player back in the day. Michael Jordan isn't just rich. He isn't just famous. He is super rich and super famous. And when Marcus was growing up, was at like the height of Michael Jordan's fame, where every time he walked out the door, people would mob him. I mean, we just did a story that Michael had a deal with supermarkets in Chicago where he would pay the staffers so they would keep the store open just for him after hours. And he would do his grocery shopping in an empty store just so he could have some kind of sense of normalcy and privacy when he was grocery shopping. So what was it like being Michael Jordan's son? What was the best and the worst part about being Michael's kid? And Marcus was an awesome guy, by the way. We had this conversation with him, and he could not have been more nice, more honest, more open, just a really cool dude. Here's Marcus kind of giving us the rundown. Take a look.
The best thing, honestly, man, there's just a lot of perks. You know, we were raised relatively normal. I say relative because, I didn't take my first commercial flight until I was a junior in high school. I grew up playing PlayStation on a private jet. So it's not normal, but my mom, she's from the south side of Chicago. And so she made sure that we stayed grounded and, visited my cousins on the south side a lot. And so, we had a somewhat normal upbringing, going to public middle school, et cetera, et cetera. But the negative or the worst thing would just be like, having to operate under the assumption that people are always wanting something from you, whether it's a Jordan shoe or a connection of some sort, people always, you have to operate under the assumption that people, are coming around with their hands out. And so that's probably the only downfall. Other than that, there's a lot of plus side.
How do you not appreciate just the candor from him?
I think we obviously know what the pluses are. I do think one of the minuses, even if he didn't speak about it, is that you're always being compared, to your father.
Yeah,
it's an almost impossible thing to live up to, and probably a lot of pressure, on it. You're not a person, you're Michael Jordan's son. And I'm assuming that weighs on you.
Yeah, I remember him, when this was actually happening, Marcus being a really good basketball player, but people were basically like, this guy sucks because he wasn't the greatest ever like his dad was. So it's like you accomplished these really great things, but you're just not really getting the credit because you're being compared to the guy who was literally the best ever. So that's got to be tough.
And this is not a knock on rich kids or kids that come from privilege. It's very difficult to have the same sort of motivation and drive when you're playing the PlayStation on a private jet. Michael Jordan came up in a, kind of a rural area, guy, didn't make the varsity team. And you find out, like, it's very difficult to be a great player, a great athlete, a great anything. A lot of times you have to kind of come from nothing and build yourself up. I mean, I'll be honest, if I was Michael Jordan's son, I don't know if I would just have the motivation, to be great. Because what do I have to worry about?
One of the things that Marcus is doing now is he runs a business called the Trophy Room, which sells clothes, shoes, Jordan merch, and all that stuff. And very passionate about that. And when I was watching the interview and I was thinking about it, it's like Marcus Jordan can do anything he wants. He could do nothing. He could go out and try to be an actor. He could do whatever he wants, but this is what he wants to do. And he's had a lifetime to really think about what makes him happy. And I think that's really a wonderful thing about his situation is he's had the ability to kind of be like, look, this makes me happy. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. And he's doing that. And I think that's the dream. I mean, for a lot of people to be doing something.
Evan, I think everybody, if they could, would want to do something that they love. And it helps if your father's Michael Jordan. You can have about 7 or 8 failed businesses before you find the one that you like. I mean, that's a great thing. I mean, if we were all Michael Jordan's sons, we may be doing something different right now.
Nope, I would be right here, Robert. Right here.
I would not.